We're recording. Get in here. Huh? Okay.
Hi. So, anyways, welcome to episode 2 of Loud and Queer. We've only filmed this episode twice this time, whereas the other ones we filmed 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, we're learning the technical difficulties of filming a podcast.
You know, it might take us 22 times in order to do this, but like,
We're gonna get there. We'll get there. We really want to release quality content for you guys. That was one of the things I decided super early on, is like, I'm not gonna put out a shitty podcast. I have really good audio video equipment already because I do a lot of different types of performances. I do photography, I do a lot of different videography. So it's just learning to use that equipment and apply it to filming a podcast, which has been challenging.
So hopefully this episode
Airs. Hopefully this episode looks a lot crisper and cleaner than the first episode we released.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one was a good little sprinkling of
Testy test.
Yeah, and I mean, we have filmed, I think, 3 other episodes and a collaboration episode, and none of it can be used.
None of it can be used. So
we got hit in the head with water bottles for no one's pleasure.
that will get aired.
Hopefully,
Okay.
because that is hilarious.
Yeah.
At some point, you'll see that.
So anyways, we're starting on our first segment is Am I the Asshole? And let me pull up the Am I the Asshole I have for us today. Okay, this one's kind of tame.
Okay.
I don't know, I haven't read through it, I just read the title.
I don't believe you whenever you say that.
No, I'm serious this time. Am I the asshole for not giving a person 10 minutes alone in the dog park?
Am I the asshole for not giving a person 10 minutes? I mean, does this person have a...
We don't know any of the context. You always want context.
Okay.
Just answer the question yes or no.
No.
Okay. I say yes.
Like,
I think you're an asshole.
so is it the person that's asking this is
Yes,
the asshole?
am I the asshole
For
because I
not
didn't
giving-
give someone 10 minutes alone in the dog park?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Based on just the title alone, I do. Because it's 10 minutes, like, you know. But we're going to read through it. Okay. Today, after my 12-hour graveyard shift, I went to the mixed-sized dog park with my 2 little Maltese dogs. I walked up to the gate and was met by someone with a beautiful full-grown husky. The person said to me, "He is not good with little dogs and is rough when he plays with them. Can you just give me 10 to 15 minutes without your dogs in here?" I thought about it for a second and said, "Please leash your dog if he is not trained. I'm coming in with them. I just finished a 12-hour shift and I cannot wait."
allowed to like have dogs off the leash?
Yes, no, that's the whole point.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point, is off-leash. Like,
So then, no.
she's saying if he's not trained and he's going to attack my dogs, like, please keep him on leash because I'm coming in anyways, basically. Then he responded saying, "Well, I am warning you that my dog will hurt your dogs if you come in here with him." I then said, "No, you need to leash your dog because he is not well behaved around other dogs, and this is not my problem. This is your problem." I proceeded to open the first of the 2 gates, and his dog reared up and started to bark while my dogs looked me up and down and started to sniff around the ground. He became louder and demanded, "Just give me 10 minutes and then I will go." I denied his request, repeated that he needs to leash his dog and that I am not waiting for them. He then said, "Okay, fine, I will leash my dog, and you are a very rude lady." I waited for him to leash his dog and then entered the closed park area. His dog reared up again, and I directed my dogs to walk away, and they complied. The man got more upset and exclaimed, "You are so rude, very rude lady," and then complained about me to other park patrons, and then used the other exit and left with his husky. Am I the asshole for insisting that that this person leash his dog in the dog park around my dogs?
No, absolutely not. Number one, I do not have a dog, so I cannot speak based on this, but I know other people who have taken their dogs to the dog park and whatnot. If you take your dog to a dog park, it is for your dog to run around, play with other dogs, get some social interaction. That is the point. If you bring a dog that is not comfortable with... I don't even have to finish the sentence. If the dog is not comfortable being around other dogs, don't bring your dog to a dog park. It is point blank fact. If you are asking someone to not come into a public area where you're allowed to bring your dog,
Right.
just because your dog is knowingly
Dog
going
aggressive.
to be misbehaving or aggressive, yeah. No, don't. It is absolutely not her fault. What did she want her to do? Just stand outside and just. Like what? What do you want?
Is it my turn?
Sorry.
So, I think there's...
Oh, also sorry. We're footsies today. We didn't feel like getting fully
We're
dressed today.
suckies. It's a sucky pod.
We almost did a pajama podcast, and we're like, we gotta get dressed.
So my perspective on the Am I the Asshole, I think there's a couple different facts, a couple different sides to this, and I think what you're saying is very valid, and from what I'm seeing in the comments, everybody agrees with you.
Mhm.
Like, no, you're not the asshole, it's a public place, you're allowed to come in, and I think all those things are true, but let me just paint a little picture for you viewers. Let me just give a little bit of perspective. Now, mind
Go
you,
ahead, Bingo.
Mind you, I have a background in animal behavior and training. I have specifically studied dog body language and
He's into beastie.
I cannot believe you just said that on the podcast. No, I am not, and I don't tolerate anything to do with that subject.
That is awful.
Think about things before they come out of your mouth, sir. So, anyways, background in animal behavior, and so I think I have a little bit of pull when it comes to this particular conversation. Now, I think at the end of the day, for me, the final end-all be-all for this discussion is just don't be an asshole. Like, just do the nice thing, especially if it's only going to take you 10 minutes. Because you have no idea what the other people around you and in your life are going through, and if you can take 10 minutes out of your day to do something to significantly improve somebody's day, like, is it really that hard at the end of the day to just be a little bit nice? Like, yes, this lady said that she worked a graveyard shift and she was tired and she didn't have time. I totally understand those things, and those are all valid. And Russell is absolutely right when he says that a dog park is a place that is specifically designed for socialization between canines.
Yeah.
If you have a canine that isn't social with other dogs, you shouldn't be bringing them there. I personally have 2 very dog reactive dogs. I do not bring them to dog parks. I also think no one should bring their dogs to dog parks because they're a breeding ground for all sorts of bacterial, everything just awful, parasites and everything. I don't want my dogs to get sick.
Yeah.
Don't bring them to places like that. Couldn't anyways because they're dog aggressive. Now, however, if I lived in a big city, if I lived in New York City, I lived in places where I didn't have access to a rural area to let my dogs roam off leash and get some exercise, that may be my only option. And it sounds like he was already at the dog park. There were no other dog in there already. He was by himself, so he might have sought out a time where he knew it would be less busy and then was like, yes, I have some space for the dog to run. Huskies are a breed that need to be exercised. So he may struggle with that. What do you do when you have a dog that needs to be exercised and is dog aggressive? Dog aggression is a personality trait. It can be influenced by training and like environment, but most of the time the owner isn't to blame for a dog that just doesn't get along with other dogs. That's okay. People look at dog aggression and they blame the owner and they get angry at the owner as if it's their fault. Most of the time, we forget dogs are still animals. Even though we've domesticated them, they can still have aggressive tendencies, and we're not always in control of that. Most of the time, people with super friendly social dogs honestly just luck out with getting good genetics. So not all of us have that luxury, especially somebody like me who has rescues. It's kind of a tinderbox. You never know what you're going to get. So at the end of the day, my thought process on it is he had a conflict resolution of being like, I'm already in here, I know this is going to be a problem ahead of time, let me approach this person and just say, hey, can you just give me 10 more minutes with my dog and then I'll be out of your hair.
Yeah, I can see both for it.
And I can as well.
But I think in at least that specific scenario of her being the night shift and everything, she's not an asshole.
I think he has the right to ask. She also has the right to say no. And he should have been understanding and as a good owner just said, okay, well then just can you back up so that I can just get out with my dog? And
that would have been fine.
He could have been perturbed. He could have been angry that she said that, but you don't owe a stranger anything either. So I think both of them were kind of assholes in this situation. Both of them could have handled it better, but that's just my opinion.
Do you have a dream pet? Like if any wild animal.
Here's the thing. As a person with a background in zoology, I don't condone or encourage exotic animal ownership. That being said, also a person who owns exotic animals. And all you'll learn about owning exotic animals is that they shouldn't be pets.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of them are already still here, and 99% of my pets are rescue animals who ended up in a situation where...
Okay, so hypothetically.
Hypothetically...
Not like, yes, as soon as you name this, we're gonna go buy one right now.
Hypothetically, there's lots of animals that I would like, but I think from the different animals I've worked with, an opossum would be probably one of my top because they could be super
Oh,
affectionate.
that'd be cute, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with a couple. There's one
I've heard
in
people
New
who
York.
have had like raccoons as pets.
Yeah, people keep opossums as pets too.
I've seen that too.
The issue is they have a really short lifespan. Even in captivity, they only live about 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like you love this thing and then it dies.
I love this animal with every being.
You can't have a dinosaur. We've discussed
know,
this, or a Taylor Swift.
I just keep her in a cage.
You just buy a Taylor Swift impersonator.
I just shake the cage. I'm like, write a song about me. No, I've always wanted a capybara. Like I've always wanted one, and I just they're such docile creatures.
Mhm.
From all. There was a point in my life that I was like, I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one.
Totally legal in,
And-
I think, all 50 states to own a capybara.
Yeah, it is. And
World's largest rodent. For those of you who don't know, we'll throw a picture up.
so cute. They're so. If you look up pictures of capybaras, more than likely, if you go on Google Images, you'll see them with like every creature under the sun.
Yeah.
They are like with cats, dogs,
Yeah.
ducks, birds. I saw one with it literally like laying next to an alligator, and I'm like,
Yeah, they're
Or-
very, very docile creatures. The only reason that they survived and not gone extinct is because in South America they breed them for food. They farm them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they farm them for food, and a lot of these farms are like open air farms because the capybaras just kind of stay where they have
Uh-huh.
safety. So they're actively like contributing to the wild population of capybara. Because literally, we make the joke about capybara that every layer of existence, so
Yeah.
the sky, the land, the water, there's a natural predator for them. In the water, you have caiman. In the sky, you have vultures. And
I don't want to be morbid really quickly, but I know how big a capybara is. I really want to see a video of a vulture trying to pick up a capybara.
Well, they don't pick them up; they just eat them
Oh, okay.
or attack them.
The
The babies too.
I don't know why. I just immediately saw like
A whole capybara flying.
just going off in the sky. And I'm like, bye.
Yeah, and then jaguars are their land predators, but everything eats them, and they just they'll form circles around the babies to protect them.
Yeah.
But they have
It's
virtually-
very much of like how an elephant works.
No, because elephants can attack. They can do a lot of damage. Most animals don't mess with an elephant.
No, what I'm saying is like they
Yes,
surround
the way they
it
protect the
and-
babies.
and
Yeah,
it's
rhinos
very-
too.
It's a pack animal, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy to think about.
Well,
Like,
if you think about guinea pigs, capybara are pretty much just
don't.
giant guinea pigs. Guinea pigs
I
are
don't
super
think about
social.
them.
Well, poor guinea pigs. Super social though. Vegetarian. Well.
Oh, G-force, got it. Yeah.
G-force. But yeah, capybara get along with anything. In the zoo, we will put them with all sorts of animals. So.
Like there was a time when Mom and I went on vacation to Georgia, and there was a zoo that had a
Capybara experience.
petting exhibit. But when I tell you that I was like, I want it, and then I looked at the price, and I was like, just to touch a large rat, like what? It was so obnoxiously expensive. I want to say it was like $150, and that was just for that experience.
Yeah.
It wasn't even admission into the zoo, and I was like, that dream will have to wait.
Yeah, they do it in West Palm too. The zoo I used to work at as an intern.
Insane.
Yeah, I worked with the capybaras, so I would do the capybara experiences. We would hand them heads of pieces of bromine, they'd hold them up, and the capybara would stand on there.
I'm gonna cry. I want to do that so bad.
We'll do it someday.
That is like top tier bucket list
That's
stuff.
so.
And I know it's so crazy because I know there's people that are obsessed with sloths and
Yeah.
people that are obsessed with birds. And anyways, thanks guys for coming out. But like, yeah, there's
Capybara is not a common animal.
it's not, and I'm so obsessed with them. Anytime I see them in a zoo, I'm like in front of the window for the longest amount of time. It's stupid.
Okay.
And sorry,
All right, capybara tangent. I need a safe word.
I know.
Maybe capybara is the safe word. Just say capybara.
No, if you say it, I'm gonna go on a tangent
And
about
then
it.
we have to go on to the next topic.
So I came up with a wonderful next segment called This or That, and we're gonna play a little game because I know this one over here loves Pokemon. You do.
It's true.
And you're the most Pokemon fan there is.
Pokemon fan? No, I just didn't associate with the fan.
You don't play Pokemon Go. You're not one of those crazy ones.
Okay, listen. Pokemon Go is not real Pokemon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the viewers that we don't have that we're still gonna lose for me saying that.
No, I'll say it too because I downloaded Pokemon Go when it first came out, and the hype came out and everything.
I did as well.
And it was more of like, you know, what cool Pokemon can you collect?
It is a unique way to integrate Pokemon into a mobile game.
But now it has gotten to a point where, no shade, but the Pokemon Go meetups where they
get huge.
They get huge, and it has now come to full cosplay while doing it.
Oh, I love that.
Then not only that, but I just saw a video on TikTok not too long ago where their Pokemon Go event was like, there were like props and like in the game there's like Pokestops, yeah. And they built physical, and it was made of like metal, like it was real, and I was like, we get it.
I think it's cool. It's just not for me.
Like, yeah, that's cool, but then it's just, I don't know. That's crazy.
Anyways, this
one is it this or that? And this is, I saw one earlier that it was, is it a Pokemon or a Fakemon?
Okay. And
I was like, I have a feeling I'm gonna know all of those. And so, I decided, you know what? This one sounds funny. This is it a Pokemon or is it a drug?
Okay. Good thing I know a lot about Pokemon.
I don't know much about Pokemon. I can tell you first gen, maybe a little bit of second gen.
I'm a first and second.
Past that, I'm like, couldn't tell you.
It does start to get a little hard.
Couldn't tell you.
It does.
So,
alright, let's go.
Sentret. I do know that is a Pokemon.
Sentret is a Pokemon. Yeah, so based off of
Yes.
the ferret.
Vibrava.
Vibrava. There is
sounds like a drug.
There is a dragonfly Pokemon called Vibrava. Yeah.
Work. Voltaren.
Voltaren?
Voltaren.
No. It's a drug.
That is a drug.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it actually gives you extra info over here too. Oh, we have a time limit. Gliscor.
Gliscor's real.
Okay. Milotic.
Milotic is real.
Wow. Luxic.
Luxic, can I see this?
Luxiq? That sounds like a drug.
That's a drug.
It's a topical steroid. Decadron.
Decadron?
That's a drug.
That's a drug.
Quavar. Qvar. Quavar. That has to be a drug.
That's a drug.
Marowak. I know that is a Pokemon.
That's a Pokemon.
Ticklid.
What would Marowak treat if it was a drug?
What would Marowak
Treat if it were a drug? Try Marowak.
It is if your bone marrow's out of whack.
That's good.
Thanks, I think I may be.
Okay, anyway.
Ticklid.
Ticklin?
Ticklid.
Sounds like chiclet. No, Ticklid isn't real. That's a drug.
Okay. Yeah, it is a drug. Altaria.
Let me see.
Altaria.
I feel like that's a drug, but it also sounds like a Pokemon. I'm gonna say drug.
I think it's a Pokemon.
I think it's a drug.
Okay, drug. It is a Pokemon, bitch!
Dang it!
Third generation dragon flying. Banzel. I know that is Pokemon.
Banzel?
Banzel.
No, that is a drug.
That is a Pokemon.
Okay.
That was for anti-seizure. Numel.
Numel is a Pokemon.
Okay. Glaceon. I know that's a Pokemon.
That's a Pokemon.
Zygrus.
Zygrus is a Pokemon.
Okay. That is for sepsis.
Zygrus isn't a Pokemon?
No. Clastion. That has to be a Pokemon. Did you say drug?
Drug.
It's for bone cancer.
Yeah.
Crestor. That's a drug. I know that that's a drug.
Drug, yeah, it's a drug.
Rayquaza. That's a drug.
Pokemon.
That I've seen a commercial for Rayquaza.
It's a Pokemon, babe.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it's a legendary Pokemon. He's green.
Interesting. Is that the new Mandela effect? It's Rayquaza. Carnotaur.
Carnotaur's real. Wait, no,
That's
Carnotaur is a...
Pokemon. That's a Pokemon. Nope, it's a dietary supplement.
Yeah, it's a...
Absol.
Absol's a Pokemon. Carnotaur is an actual dinosaur, though. So I was like, what?
Nincada.
Nincada is a Pokemon.
Oh. Okay. Groudon.
Groudon's a Pokemon.
Okay. Actos. That sounds like a drug. Yep. Vaporeon. That's a.
That's a Pokemon. Don't look up Vaporeon lore.
Oh,
whatever
God.
you do.
Not again. Heatran.
Heatran's a Pokemon.
Okay. Aeon. That is a drug. Matang. That is a Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Azurill. That is a Pokemon. Aranesp. That's a Pokemon. Aranesp? Aranesp.
Nope, that's a drug.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, anti-anemia. I love that it gives us. Ursaring.
Ursaring's a Pokemon.
We got a minute left. Rosarum.
Pokemon.
Nope, it was for sleep.
Damn it,
Tygasil. That's drug. Umbreon. That's Pokemon. Jalen.
Drug.
Vulpix. That's a Pokemon. Navane.
Drug.
Okay. Fusion. That has to be a drug. Rescriptor.
Drug.
Flareon.
Pokemon.
Geodon.
Drug.
That's a drug. We got an 85%. Somehow we missed the shit.
Oh my
I'm
goodness. Anyways, so that was this or that. I did okay. I did worse than I thought I would.
So how many of those drugs have you taken?
Yes.
Me too.
I don't think any one of those have I ever taken.
I saw one of them that we got wrong, or one of them, what was it? Hold on. Let me go back to it because I saw it and I laughed so hard because I said it and you were like, drug. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. Oh, Actos. You were like, drug. And I was like, oh, it's a type 2 diabetes medication.
How very fucking dare you?
I thought you knew it because you take it.
No, I don't take it. I just take every type of diabetes medication.
I don't know your medicines that
I'm
you
also
take.
not technically type 2.
Oh.
No one knows what the fuck I am. Anyways, moving along.
You're just a bitch.
We're moving along. We call this segment Gay News.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I did.
I don't either.
You said gay news and I pushed up my boobs.
I know, I watched.
Oh.
So, anyways, it's Gay News as a segment we're doing, which is like, it isn't homosexual, but it's more like there's so much negative news out there. War, politicians.
You turn on the news and anything that you see is just bad things that's in your neighborhood, battling politics, war, everything that you can see, and it is just like you don't get any good news anymore.
Right.
And so we thought because we're, spoiler, gay, and I'm so sorry, did I out you?
You're gay?
You're gay?
Loud and queer, baby, loud and queer. So yeah, it's happy news. We're delivering happy news.
Gay originally meant happy back in the day. Let's bring some more happiness.
We're bringing it back.
So what's our happy news for today?
Our happy news for today comes to you from Pennsylvania. And it is about how the American marten is set to return to Pennsylvania forest after a 100-year absence.
But Cole, what is a marten? Sorry. I really went, let's go to Discovery Planet.
So martens are a small mustelid, a small weasel. They're in the Mustelidae family. Some common weasels you find in the U.S. are minks or
Weasels, ferrets.
well, weasel is the group. There isn't a weasel called the way. Fishers, wolverines, those are all weasels.
Are Tasmanian devils?
Tasmanian devils are no. Tasmanian devils are a marsupial, I believe. But we don't have those in the U.S. anyways. So yeah, so those are all otters are mustelid.
Are possums?
Opossums are not. They are a marsupial. Actually, in North America,
Wait,
it's only marsupial.
Hold on, this is a genuine question before we get to it. Are opossums and possums different creatures?
They are different creatures,
No, they're
and
not.
I am so glad you said
No,
this
they're
on the
not.
podcast. Listen, you want a tangent? I'm gonna give you a motherfucking tangent, okay? I'm gonna give you a motherfucking tangent.
Don't you, like, say it the same way though?
No! Yeah, no! Let me tell you why. There are people, so many people, okay? I have a background in zoology. I was a zookeeper for many, many years. I took care of Virginia opossums.
If I disappear after this episode, it's because I pissed them off about it.
No, you didn't piss me off. It's just something that I'm really passionate about. Because even experts, even people within the zoology field get this wrong. And there are certain things that, like, it's an opinion. You know, science is what we think we know.
Okay.
So there are some things that really are an opinion, but this is a fact. And the reason
This
is
isn't a possum, right?
a possum is a completely different animal. It is a marsupial. It lives in Australia, and it looks fundamentally different than the opossum. Now, we all know that the opossum is spelled with an O, but some people believe that it is still spoken possum, or it's slang possum. But the problem with that
And this is a possum.
is that a possum is another animal entirely. That's like a slang term for a dog being cat. No, they're two different animals. So you might confuse the entire species you're speaking of. There is only one species of opossum that lives in North America. That is the Virginia opossum.
That's
And
the ones that we see in the trash cans. And
yes, they are.
turn into the-
And they're so fundamentally important to our ecosystem because they're North America's only marsupial, and they do some really incredible things. We'll talk about opossums on another podcast. But no, they are different. Opossums and possums are different animals. Okay, we're on a opossum tangent. Anyways,
I will send this to you so that way we can just put it up here, please.
back to weasels. The marten is a small weasel, a small mustelid. They're adorable. I will also put up a picture of martens on the screen. They're so cute. And they were extirpated from the state of Pennsylvania. Now, extirpated just means locally extinct.
Thanks,
So
because I'm dumb.
they still exist, just not in that area. So they're extirpated. Okay. The Pennsylvania Wildlife Organization wants to reintroduce them, and because they used to exist there in the past. Now, a lot of times when these wildlife management organizations mess with the ecosystem or reintroduce things, it tends to screw things up. But what's interesting about this particular case is that they're hoping that the introduction will sort of regulate the ecosystem further, since they lived there for so long, 100 years ago. They weigh 1 to 3 pounds.
Why would they think that it would regulate the ecosystem?
Well, just because they did exist there, and there are some irregularities, some imbalances in the ecosystem there. That
So they think that by adding these
they are small predators.
wild weasels
Yeah,
back in.
they are omnivorous, which means that they eat both plants and animals.
Yeah. More than likely, it's more eggs than anything.
Well, they will eat insects, fish, small mammals, like rodents primarily. They're small themselves. They weigh 1 to 3 pounds, so they're not going to eat any large prey. But
I'm not going to see this thing chomping on a cat.
no, you're not. And the group that they're releasing are going to be non-protected, so they'll still be able to be hunted and stuff like that. But it's basically part of this feasibility assessment that the Game Commission conducted, and they basically found that they primarily eat rodents.
Did you say the Game Commission?
Yes, the Game Commission.
So isn't the Game Commission the same?
No, like game, like as in like hunting game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, so the game people are the ones releasing this? Back in the
They
wild?
did, no, the conservation group will, but
Oh,
they
okay.
did a feasibility assessment about releasing them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the Game
We're back
Commission,
on track.
it's one and the same with your conservation organization. They're going to be doing the same kind of work. There are some opponents of the reintroduction. They worry that the predators will damage population of species like grouse and wild turkey. But during the feasibility assessment, species such as turkey, including their eggs and their chicks, were not identified as prey items in this animal's diet. So they believe that because the marten has lived in Pennsylvania more recently, introducing them will help bring the ecosystem into a better balance by increasing biodiversity and returning the ecological processes such as seed dispersal, so they eat plants and then poop them out, disperse their seeds, and rodent population management because they'll primarily eat the rodents. They did a survey in Pennsylvania, northern central Pennsylvania, mostly targeted at hunters, and they found that it was a pretty even split. And about 37% were in favor of the reintroduction, 32% were in opposition, and 31% were neutral, they just didn't care.
So So essentially, the Pennsylvania nation all changed when the martens attacked.
When the martens attacked. The adorable little martens. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of happy news. Like this,
That is really good
It's not a
news.
species.
I like that.
It's not a species that you see very often in the North American continent. There are a lot of martens, and the only non-domestic ferret, the black-footed ferret, is in Europe. So it's just a species that we don't get to see, and they're adorable. So we'll pop up some pictures so you guys get to see how adorable they are. Happy news.
That's so good. I like that.
Yeah.
I know I wrote at the end. So we have a paper. Oh my god, sorry. We have a paper down here. It's just so that way our ADHD brains can like kind of stick on the same track.
His ADHD brain.
My ADHD brain can stay on the right track. And so
I mean, don't get me wrong,
I
my
wrote-
brain's ADHD too.
Yeah.
We struggle. We're on the bus. We're driving the struggle bus most days, actually.
I'm running into it and getting and then I get out of the bus, go in front of it, and I lay down on the ground and I go. So, yeah.
So yeah, we have our little prompt paper, and at the end of it, he wrote,
Let's fuck shit up!
"Let's fuck shit up," which I thought was a separate prompt. Did not understand what. Also, still don't understand what's happening. Anyways, guys. We have done our segment. We have done our episode. This is episode 2 of Loud Queer. I really hope you enjoyed it because we're really excited to start pumping these episodes out.
Now that we're trying to finally understand on how everything works.
How the technologies work.
Yeah.
'Cause we're old.
I mean, I will go ahead and say it as the closing note. I'm so appreciative of Cole because there's a lot of stuff that you can't see on the screens, but we have like light, camera, tripod,
Action.
camera. Nope, that's not a camera. That's a laptop. Other microphone. This is another light. We have obviously you can see our lovely background of Loud and Queer behind us, but this is a huge, giant, big green screen right behind us that, he's so talented with this, and I'm so glad that you take the time out of your day to kind of help and put this together, and it's really great, and I'm glad that you do it.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Now compliment me.
I will say it a million times. I never wanted to do this podcast.
No, I really just
Talked me into it.
held a knife up to your throat and said, "Do it."
But I do really enjoy it's really good bonding time for Russell and I, and we are really funny. And I think you guys will see as the episodes go on, we relax a little bit more.
Yeah.
You'll get to see more of our personalities and how silly and goofy we can be. So
We are going to be stupid, and I know that soon we're going to be having some time where we're kind of going to be apart for a little bit because we're going to be doing some different traveling, and so we're going to have a lot more stories coming up. So it's going to be fun.
tip of the iceberg. So with that being said, I'm Cole.
I'm not Russell.
And this is Loud and Queer.
Bye.
Bye.